And crossing through 10,000 feet. We can go ahead and flip our lights all off. And passenger signs. They can begin their drink service down there. San Diego off on our left down there. We just departed. And we're on our way to Phoenix. Woohoo! Increase our speed now. Crossing Papa Golf Yankee, still increasing speed, and headed to Browse intersection. Before we get to India Papa Lima, the last one on our arrival, and then what we get, or departure. Then when we start our arrival, we're going to hit Judith, and that's our first restriction, 280 knots, 25,000 feet, which is great. We're going to 270, so that's only 2,000 to lose before we get there. 13.8 right now, and still climbing. Just about to hit 18,000 feet for the changeover to standard pressure. As you can see here, we're doing a true airspeed of 367, which is fine because normally when you would file a flight plan, you shoot for about 372. So we're just a little bit off of that at 280 knots indicated. With the ground speed of 386 because we're getting a 19-knot tailwind out of 238. Not too bad. Across the 18,000, pretty simple to change that over to 2992. We're just going to click on the Barrow button right there. Click it in. 2992 set. And we're on standard pressure all the way on up to flight level 270. .7 for flight level 270. We're going to go ahead and make sure we lower this guy down. Not alt. Okay, alt cap, which means that it has captured the altitude of 270, and we're pretty much good to go. All we have to do now is come over here and select performance, thrust limit. We'll select cruise mode for that, and that'll pull those engines back just a tad. But we're cruising along pretty good here. True airspeed of 352. We're doing 337 over the ground. And it will only increase as we, now that we're up here at cruise. So, beautiful, beautiful scenery with the clouds. And those clouds are from SkyMax Pro version 2, by the way. And I'll also put a link in the description to the two sceneries I'm using, the San Diego and the Phoenix scenery. They're both free and they're both amazing. So highly recommended if you're an X-Plane user. They are awesome. Back to the legs page. IPL, we've already crossed it. We're about to cross it here. We haven't crossed it yet. And then after that, we'll head to Judith. So we're only going to be up here at cruise for just a little bit. Crossing IPL right now, India Papa Lima, and we're headed to Judith, where we'll begin our descent pretty soon. Not yet. By the way, I have a half bank. I selected that. That way it's not so abrupt for our passengers back there when we're making these changes along our route. Normally, if you don't have that turned on, it'll be a little heavier bank than that. So when you have it on half bank, it just makes it a lot easier on everybody. Alrighty, let's begin our descent to 250 to cross Judith at 250. So we'll come down here like that. 3, 2, 1, boom. And we'll go into vertical speed mode and head down. We'll start out, we'll crack it open at about 800 for now, and we'll make adjustments as we need on the way down. We went across Judith at 280 knots is what it's calling for there. So make sure we have 280 dialed in on our speed. That way we have a general idea of what speed we're supposed to maintain when we cross Judith, which is a little slower than we are right now. So it's not terrible. If we start getting overspeeding a little bit more than that, of course, as we increase our angle downward, we'll have to pull the engines back. But right now, headed towards Judith, flight level 250. And we're leveling off here at 25,000 feet. Still keeping speed up right now. We're not to Judith yet, so they don't want us at 280 till we get to Judith. So we'll just pull the power back, and it won't be too hard to get there. Actually, we'll pull back just a little bit here. But right now, we need to make sure that our arrival is set now. Since our final approach, or our final fix in here now is Phoenix after Chavo and Lamo, we need to be doing the 25 right RNAV. So to do that, we're going to go to the departure arrival page, Phoenix, and see right here on transition, we want India Whiskey Alpha, which is to the southeast of the field. So we'll choose that selection there, and we'll hit execute. So now that we have that set up, in the legs you can see we're going to go from Iowa to Tayi, and then from Tayi should be Zamex, and yes, Zamex, Uxon, and so on and so forth, as we do the RNAV arrival into Phoenix. See, 4,000, 3,000, 860. Those are all altitude restrictions. And if we look on our format here, you should see it looking really nice. See how we go around there to Agala and so on and so forth. And well, we kind of shoot a left downwind to Iowa and spin around and then do that. This is all for the go-around procedures if we have to make it there. So let's go ahead and bring our range back in. And we'll just concentrate on slowing down over Judith right now. We're at flight level 250, so didn't take much to get down there. I had it cracked open at 800 feet per minute, so next time we'll probably do something a little shallower than that. Almost to Judith, let's start slowing down the airplane. Pulling the power back. And we want to make that 280 knots. Which we easily will. Doesn't take much to slow this thing down. Up through a little bit of clouds. Beautiful day here in the Phoenix area right now. You can see the winds aloft kind of changed on us a little bit. We were at, we had a tailwind, and now we have a side wind now, 174.14. And the winds in Phoenix right now are, they changed just a tad. They're at 180 at 7, gusting to 16. So that's good. Oh, add a little bit more power. 280. Don't want to slow down too much. If you've ever flown on a CRJ and they start their initial descent, you probably know these sounds. Whenever the thing starts to pull back and then go and then pull back, it's all these. It's an electronic controlled engine thing called a FADEC, and that's what you're hearing make all the changes as these guys try to make their speeds on time. All right, a little more power than that. All right, from Judith, we're headed over to Arcadam, Rickdom. We'll call it Rickdom. How about that? 22,000 feet to Rickdom we want to be. And then at 280 knots. So we'll keep that 280, but we'll do one better. We'll go down to 22,000 feet. 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Vertical speed, and we can start our descent downward. At 1,000 feet per minute ought to make us there just on time. Pull back our power a little bit. Make sure we're managing speed on our way in. Here's 280 knots and 22,000 feet, just about to cross Rickdom there. And that was the altitude restriction. 22,000 feet, can't talk. And then we'll head down to Hyder, and Hyder now is going to be 19,000 feet. So let's go ahead and do that. Select the altitude down to 19,000. Up a little bit. Boom, 19,000 feet. And we'll go to vertical speed mode and start our descent again. Do about 1,600 feet on this one. I think we ought to come out pretty clean there. Add a little bit of power. We want to maintain, actually we want to get down to 265 on this one? Yeah, 265. So let's make sure our speed's set to 265 for a reminder. 265, exactly where we are right now. Awesome. We'll just maintain 265 to Hyder. And from Hyder, we'll start to Gila. This is where the approach starts getting fun. 265 knots, almost a Hyder here in a second. And we're coming up on 19,000 feet right there. Add a little bit of power to get that 265 back in there. And then we're going to keep it on half bank for now. But once we close and turn towards Gila, or Gila, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to turn half bank off. And once we get to Agla and Chavo, we'll probably go to manual flying from there. There's no reason for the autopilot to fly this tight of a left downwind. It's pretty standard stuff, but we'll still use it since we're shooting an RNAV approach. Air traffic controllers would always want you to do that anyway, so add a little more power so we don't get too slow. And once we cross Hyder here, we'll be making that right turn towards Gila. And they want us to Gila or Gila. We'll call it Gila. 17,000 feet. So here's Gila. Go 17,000 feet on the altitude. 17,000. The vertical speed now. Downward. And we'll do 16 worked out pretty good. We'll do 17 on this one. It's a little shorter to get to Gila. I'm going to say Gila. Why am I saying Gila? Gila would be like G-I-L-A or something. Gila. There's 17,000 feet, almost to Gila now. And since we're here at 17,000, we're going to go ahead and set our barometer for the local altimeter setting of 2979er. So Barrow 2979er. It'll be a low pressure system. Come on, go down. 2979er. This thing is loading it. One thing that I don't like about SkyMax Pro is the fact that it does these stutters and skips. It looks beautiful, but yeah, these stutters and skips. Add a little more power in there since we were messing with that. Okay, we crossed Gila at 17,000 feet. Let's go to Agla, 14,000. You know what to do. We go to altitude over here and bring it down to 14,000 feet. There we go. Beautiful. And vertical speed on down. These vertical speeds have been working pretty well for us, about 1,700 feet per minute. So we head to Agla. Agla, or Agla. Let's say Agla. 15.4 and ascending for 14,000 towards Agla now. We can begin our in-range check. So let's do that now. Pressurization is set. Double check it for 1140. Field is 1137, I believe is what it was. Fuel, we can check that. We have 4,090 on board. Looks good. Fuel, we can do the altimeters have been just set. TCAS is set. Radar is set. CAS checked and cleared. Landing data. Let's do landing data. That'll be a fun one. We just got to get our little guy open here and look at our VREF speeds. So let's do that. Here we go. We're going to be right there at about 39,683 zone. So it's going to give us a VREF of 130. So let's just let this airplane still fly its thing. 14,000 at Agla. We got down quick, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Okay, so it's going to be 9,000 to Chavo. But let's keep an eye on our speed here and try to fly the airplane the best we can while we set our V-speed. So V-speed, like I said, is going to be 130 flaps 45. So we can just set our target speed to that if we want. That would be nice. 130. We'll do VREF plus 5. We'll do 135. So let's do 135, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, there you are, 135. That way we remember it when we're coming in. We'll set the speed bugs where we need to on our way in. But other than that, that's pretty much all we need to know is our VREF for flaps 45. Right off our nose on the left-hand side, you can just make out downtown Phoenix right there. And there is the airport right there. So we'll be shooting pretty much a long left downwind for only 25 right. Just about to Agla and trying to hit 250 knots. What it says right there, 250, 14,000. We nailed it 100% there. Now we go to Chavo, 210 knots and 9,000. So let's turn our speed down to 210. And down you go. 10. There we go. And we can start our descent down at 9,000 feet. Altitude down to 9,000. Right there. Beautiful. And vertical speed. Let's head on down. Head on down, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do 1,000 feet per minute. Won't take us very long to get there. The visibility has dropped dramatically. Earlier from up here, we could actually see some stuff. Now it's changed quite a bit, but that's all right. We're doing the RNAV to 2.5 right for that reason. And down to Lemo at 7,000. So let's just keep on going down. Missed that altitude just by a little bit. Probably need a little heftier descent than what I had originally done. Slowing down, and they want us still at 210 knots, which we are obliging to. So Lemo right there. We can start to see a little bit better now. Here's the airport off our left right there. Looks very nice, very nice. So visibility isn't too bad down there. See some cloud shadows hanging out. 10,000 foot check. Let's do it. APU and bleeds are set. Anti-ice is 2 probes on. Lights and passenger signs. Let's turn on the landing lights. At least get ready to land and let them know. There we go. Altimeter is set to 979er. And 10,000 foot check complete. There's 7,000 feet and 210 knots. Beautiful. And now we'll head over to India Whiskey Alpha, which is our transition, to shoot the RNAV 2.5 right approach. A little bit of power here, maintain 210 knots. Best speed to India Whiskey Alpha. And once we get to India Whiskey Alpha, we'll stay at 7,000 feet for now. We'll make that left turn from it. And once we head to Tayi, we'll head down to 5,000 feet. Headed over to Tayi. Let's go ahead and bring our altitude down to 5,000 feet. Very close. Let's bring that back up. And 5,000 there. Critical speed down we go. Let's go with 1,400 feet per minute. Looks good there. Slow this airplane down. And pretty much we're kind of doing our own thing on the way into Phoenix. We don't have any more speed restrictions, but we have altitude restrictions to adhere. And that is Tayi, 543, and then 1860 at Yasku. So we're pretty much going to be on a visual approach by that time. And we'll probably have the PAPI lights in sight. Coming up on Tayi now, flaps 1, or flaps 8 actually. And autopilot disconnect. Got her from here. A little bit to the left here, and we'll descend on down to 4,000 feet for our next intersection. All manual control right now. Bring the speed down ever so slightly. Before landing checks, flight attendants. Flight attendants be seated for landing, please. They are advised. Passenger signs are on. Thrust reversers on. Spoilers armed. On down to 4,000 feet. A little bit more left. While I'm looking at everything else. Landing gear coming down. And next setting the flaps, please. Get this puppy slowed up a little bit here. We'll get down to VREF here in a minute. A little right of our course. That's because I'm looking off to my left at a checklist whenever I wish it could be right in front of my face. That'd be pretty nice. Okay, we're 300 feet high, so we're gonna come back down. We want to maintain 3,000 feet over, what is that, Yuxin? Yuxin or whatever? Yeah, Yuxin. Yuxin. Yes, Daniel-san, Yuxin. So we're on our way in here now. Getting closer to that VRF speed. That's what those blue lines are down there. All your V speeds. And we're going to be crabbing pretty much left. You can see the winds are right here. 189er at 1.3. And they're gusting to 1.6. So we'll keep that in mind as we float towards the runway. Keep some more speed there. Almost 3,000 feet. Almost a Yuxin, actually. At 3,000 feet. And before landing checklist is complete, can't think of anything else we need to do. Nope. Just fly the airplane. The fun part. Landing's always the fun part. I think we're starting to pick up one light on the Pappy. Want to be at that 3,000 feet right on Yuxin, so I'm trying to get down to that. Yeah, a little bit of wind there. You can see it pushing us to the right, but that's all right. We like challenges. That's what flying's all about. Let's slow this puppy down so we can get another set of flaps in. There we go. We're pretty much on the glide slope, as you can see with the Pappy lights out there. We cross Yuxin at 3,000 feet, and we're descending now to 1,860 at Yaku, or Yazoo, whatever the... What is that? Yasku. Yeah, 1,800 at Yasku, which right now it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go off of the Pappy light system. So, flaps 25. Flaps 25 and running, and flaps 25 is set. Looking good. Turn off the flight director, don't need that on. It'll just annoy us the entire time. It says we're a little low, so we'll bring that nose up, and we're gonna get that VREF going. How about that? Watch our speed. Let it come on back down. And actually, with the winds being so high, I don't think we're gonna be doing a flaps 45 landing. It's pretty much my discretion, but I'm gonna say no. Just because I don't want to be that slowed up. So we're gonna go with the first blue line there. Or the third blue line, essentially. Right on that glide slope, looking beautiful. Yeah, a little high, we'll let the nose come down. I'm gonna use that trim. Here we go, right on that glide. Little to the right. You can see the wind pushing us to the right a little bit. Not too bad. Love the stutters. I only have those stutters with SkyMax. I don't have it whenever it's turned off, so I don't know what's going on with that. Let's pull the power back a little bit more. And these CRJ200s, they have a nose-down attitude like this on landing. Normally, you know, in a jetliner, you wouldn't dive for the runway, but you do with these because they don't have a forward slat on the wing that would come down normally to assist with that and get the airplane's nose pitch back up on the horizon. So we just kind of go with what we got here. But everything else is looking pretty good here. Pretty close to VREF. Coming over the numbers now. And just nice and smooth. Bring that nose up. Bring the power back. Hold it up, hold it up, hold it up, hold it up. Not too much. Beautiful. And we're down. Fly the nose down. There she is. And arm the reversers. There they go. Excellent. Coming up to 60 knots. There we go. We can turn those guys off. And we are in Phoenix. Yeehaw! We'll make our first right here. And clean up the airplane. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Phoenix. All right, we made it in one piece. After landing checklist, please. APU is going to be the first thing we want to do as we turn this corner. And we'll have our lovely co-pilot take care of that for us. A little off here to the right. And we can get that sucker going here in a second. All right, we're lined up pretty good there. We can bring the flaps up. First things first. So APU, let's go ahead and open the door for the APU as we taxi here. Lane lights can come off. We can turn off our strobe lights. Use the taxi light for right now as we head down to that concourse down there. APU doors open. APU start. APU is starting up. Transponder radar, standby. There it goes. And what else we got here? We got flaps. They're coming up. Lights and strobes are off. Probes. And those guys off. Don't need those. And bleeds. We can set the APU bleed, which is the LCV. Like that. So APU gen is off and APU bleed is on. That's why we're getting the master caution, which is fine for us. We can go ahead and switch over to APU power. So go APU. And we'll just keep the gens on for right now. That way they have the APU bleed is on, so they'll have air conditioning back there still. Since it's probably pretty warm here in Phoenix. All right, turning into our gate right now. We're gonna go to that little gate there on the right. That little guy is standing out there. Be perfect for us. So it looks like it's gate C3. I'm not sure where Delta parks in Phoenix. I need to look that up next time so we can be a little more accurate. And we'll turn on to it right here. There we go. Bring this puppy in. What a beautiful day for flying. And I love this CRJ, man. It is absolutely amazing. Okay, getting closer. And we're good there. That said, let's go ahead and set our parking brake. And let's just run APU gen. We can go ahead and kill the engines. Like that. Turn the generators off. And beacon come off. And we can tell the passengers that they can get off our airplane. There we go. All right. And shutdown check. Chocks and brakes are set. Electrics are set. APU's on bus. Fuel feed check valve test has been completed. We don't do that. Thruster levers shut off. Seatbelts are off. Anti-ice is off. Fuel pumps are all off. Hydraulic 3A as required, so we can just pull this guy back, that guy, and that guy. We leave 3A on. And beacons off. And nose wheel steering is off. Not that it matters. Here comes all of our sounds for the master warning and caution, letting us know that we have no oil pressure or anything else, or hydraulics. And that is perfectly fine. It's normal. So all these people can get off. That person is rollerblading out there. Look at this. This is hilarious. Look at this. I'm just rollerblading. No big deal. Yeah, the marshals don't work here, but you know, the sceneries are free and they're absolutely amazing for what they are. So I hope you guys enjoyed the flight. I know I did. And hit the like button if you want to see more Fly With Me series. And leave a comment below. I'll see you guys next time on a future flight. Take care.